different energy, right?
I don't. You don't need to see what's in my. I don't want you in my vehicle. I don't know what. I don't know what spirit you got on you. I don't know what. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
don't. I don't want you in my vehicle. So I don't necessarily get heightened senses because you say no. But the thing is, they have to be down. Just keep it simple. They have to articulate why they want to search your vehicle because, like I said, in some cases, depending on what states, they may have different laws. So whatever state you live in, you need to be abreast of your laws. Here in Georgia, those are the three
You
exceptions
be
to a
aware.
search
Yep.
warrant. Yeah, if you don't have those exceptions, I can't search. Now, if I'm searching, I can search the vehicle for inventory. If I'm going to tow the vehicle, his license was suspended. So me, with my knowledge, training, experience, I know I'm gonna lock him up for his license being suspended. I can search the vehicle because I'm a tow it, so I do what you call a tow inventory, and I'm looking for making sure that he doesn't have anything
Yep.
valuable that needs to be taken with him or documented, so he doesn't get taken between the stop and the tow yard, right? So, and that's another way to kind of get in the vehicle as well. But yeah, just like to your point, no, if he didn't articulate a reason why he's trying to search your vehicle, no, you don't have to give consent. And it's also note this: you can give consent, but you can also withdraw consent as well. So you can say, hey, yeah, you can search my vehicle, and if they're getting close to that glove box and you know you got something in it, you can, hey, I want you to stop. You have the right to pull your withdraw your consent as well.
Okay.
Okay. Let me ask a question. I guess we're more technical here. Can you restrict the I guess the amount of search? Like you can only search my trunk and nothing else, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it's your right. You have the right to refuse, or you have the right to say, hey, yeah, go ahead and search that, but you don't want. I don't want you searching that.
Hold on, Rasheed. Rasheed, hold on.
That's in Georgia. But go ahead.
Rasheed.
Go
okay,
ahead.
it's in Georgia. Remember, y'all, Georgia.
Right.
Yeah. I was about to say. Remember, guys. Each state is different. He's talking from the perspective of Georgia. South Carolina might be a little different. Florida might be a little different. Texas might be a little different. You run them states and pull that if you want to. It
Yeah,
might don't
yeah,
happen.
yeah.
Now, what
But
about what about when people always say, "Well, it's my right to ask for a sergeant. It's my right to ask for your superior."
no, that's not a law. That's typically a policy. It might be policy or procedures for certain departments. I don't have to. Yeah, you can ask for a supervisor. I don't have to call a supervisor, and I don't have to stop what I'm doing to wait for a supervisor to get there either. So I might say, you want a
Right.
supervisor? I'll call him, but we're gonna continue what we're doing. And if I need to snatch you out of that vehicle, that's what's gonna happen. The supervisor get there later on and see the aftermath. But there's not a law in Georgia that says you have the right to a supervisor.
I noticed he was screaming. I want to see a supervisor. And there's a lot of people in comments saying, "Well, why didn't they get him a supervisor? Why didn't he get him a supervisor?" My comment was, "Why didn't he comply when he had the door open and they asked him to step out?"
Yeah,
Right,
Yeah.
right.
right.
And a lot of people say, "Why did he break the glass?" Well, can you all speak to that? Because in my,
Yeah,
outside of
you have the right to effect that arrest by all means. At that point, you've already determined that he's under arrest. You've told him you're
There
under
you go.
arrest. Yeah, so you have the right to, you get the jaws of life and rip that whole door off if you have to effect that arrest. But as far as the supervisor situation, nothing stops because you ask for a supervisor. That's that YouTube lawyer stuff. You know what I'm saying? I need a supervisor. Okay. What he was trying to do was prolong the stop to try to figure out how you're going to destroy evidence. How
Right.
you trying to figure out how you're going to get out of this. So you're prolonging it.
Right.
So I'm not going to let
Right.
you prolong it and produce no handgun. I'm not going to let you destroy evidence. I'm going to get you under control, and then the sergeant or lieutenant or whoever comes later can deal with that. But no, in our department and in most departments in Georgia, it's not a law. It's typically more likely a policy and some procedures.
okay, now, and I'm not trying to take over all the questions, but my mind just like, but
Now
at
go ahead,
what
man.
point? At what point was he under arrest? Because a lot of people are like, wait a minute, y'all didn't put him under arrest. He wasn't arrested until he got on the ground, and you guys put the handcuffs on. No, at what point was he under arrest?
When he told him he was under arrest. When he shut the door, he actually told him to step out of the vehicle. At that point, and then he shut the door, he said you're under arrest. At that point, he was under arrest. You
Okay,
don't have to acquiesce for it to be, acquiesce meaning you don't have to surrender. He told you you are under arrest. That is at that point you are under arrest, and you have a duty to comply and go ahead and allow them to take you to custody. So when you start fighting, you start adding more charges, and subsequently can get yourself injured really badly.
right.
Hey,
Does it
hey
look like
Rasheed,
he? Wait,
go ahead. Go ahead,
Yes,
Craig.
sir.
No, I was saying, does it look like he put up a fight when he's being pulled out of the car, he got his hands up. And he's being pulled out, and they're saying comply, and they're putting his hands behind his back, but they're slamming him to the ground. They're doing what, they're being a little more physical than what people would say, oh, well, he surrendered. He put his hands out. Now, again, the surrender came late. As we know, the surrender came late, but his hands were here, and he's being pulled out, and his hands are visible. So you could take his hands, but they threw him to the ground.
Well, they had his hands. He didn't have his hands up by himself. They had control of his hands.
Right.
But you clearly hear him saying no, no, no. You clearly hear him saying no. And if he was going to surrender, he would have got on the ground immediately. It took him a few seconds to get him down to the ground. And you got to understand, look how much force. That kid wasn't that big, and look how those cops on him. It took them that many people to get him to the ground. That clearly shows you how much he was resisting.
Somebody like me, I got bad legs. I step out.
Yeah.
And they say get on the ground. It might take me a little bit to get on the ground. You understand what I'm saying? If y'all got my hand,
if they see you trying, typically if I see you trying, you're attempting to. But to be honest with you, by the time you shut the door and lock the door, and we got to go through all that busting your window to get you out. All bets are off at that point. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
It's all out the windows.
That's all. There you go. That's where it was.
Yeah, you bets off at that point.
Because you got to think about this, Craig and Victor.
Go ahead.
Y'all got to think about this. Once y'all close that door on us, we don't know what's your plan.
Right.
Once you close that door on us, you don't know what you got in that car, what you plan on doing next. So everything's out the window at this point. I'm trying to go home at the end of the day.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah.
That's what I wanted y'all to get to, the fact that you guys are trying to do a job, and you're making my job difficult and dangerous.
Right.
You understand? So at this point, you're going to do what you have to do to make sure that you go home, and to make sure that make sure he's under arrest because he didn't comply.
Right. And it looks bad.
That's what we want y'all to realize. Guys, just listen.